goodness sake, Nom, will you get back in that bush? And Keith, what are you even doing in the bush? You're not on the run. Oh, goodness me. The people that I have to work with. Welcome back to Mongolia. Right. Since that Guam game, things have got a little bit tense. I mean, a game against Guam, there was nobody in the stadium. Nom and I were able to avoid detection pretty easily. But Nom's 7'4" and a Hollywood film star now. And today we're playing the host Mongolia in their own backyard. So the scrutiny is going to be much greater. We daren't even stay with the squad at their training complex for fear of detection. We're leaving Nathan Tekapua and Joe Wang Miller in charge of the boys. Luckily, Nom's cousin Keith is a monk at this Buddhist temple and he's been hiding us out here for a couple of days so we can avoid the long arm of the law. But we've got nothing else for it. We're going to have to make our way to the national stadium at Ulaanbaatar today. Somehow try and avoid detection because we've got a big game. We were less than convincing in that opener against Guam. And now we're going to have to play a much tougher opponent in Mongolia if we're going to carry on our island dreams. Okay, so we certainly weren't at our best against Guam, and we might not have been altogether convincing, but we got a 3-0 win, so we got the job done, and I think the heat and the conditions and the fact that this tournament is taking place when most teams are on their pre-season break, I think it's affecting the other nations as well, because when we were beating Guam 3-0, well, Mongolia and Macau were playing out a fairly dull 0-0 draw. And earlier today, Macau could only muster a draw against Guam. So if we could get a result today against Mongolia, well, again, it will put us in the driving seat. We've tried to freshen things up a little bit. So we're bringing in Kim Jin for a little bit of pace down the right-hand side. We're bringing in Dale Lone, who's got a little bit more match sharpness than some of the other options in there. 2 new players in central midfield, Nathan Aninzo, who's been a star for the last couple of years, alongside another new player, Owen Hunsberger, the Humbergler they call him. We're bringing in Juanito and Generaluccio. Those are our 2 first-choice wingers to face Mongolia today. We're going to keep Sloop John up front, although if we play him today, I don't think he'll make it onto the field for the third game. Remember, these games are taking place with just 48 hours gap between them. And we're going to bring in Jeffrey Belcher up front, hoping that he can use his pace to terrify the opposition. We're going to stick with the lower tempo and the shorter passing that we played in the first game. Maybe that's just going to help us again in some very hot conditions against a very hostile crowd when our players are woefully lacking in match sharpness. They are going for a 3-man front line just like Guam did. I think lots of teams at an international level feel like we are still a very soft touch. So let's go with, we could secure qualification. I didn't know that was the case, but we'll go with it. Sure, any of the boys either heard or were that interested. And just as we did when we were playing against Guam in the last game, we'll try and make the pitch a little bit wider as they've only got 1 player out on the flanks. But this one is going to be tough. I know we beat them 5-0 in a friendly, but that's when our players were fit. And that's also when we had home advantage, which we do not have today. So this could be a more difficult proposition, as Juanito's first touch might indicate. And Mongolia have got the first highlight. They're coming forward, and goodness me, that was a bit of a close shave early on. Maybe we should drop the mentality. We'll leave it for the moment. Certainly as we've got into a highlight as well. Generaluccio loses the ball, but the Humbergler gets it back. And here he goes. He's using his pace, but he's a bit far out. And we know that finishing is not his forte, which is a horrifying thing to reveal about your striker. But he's certainly more athletic than he is skilled when it comes to finishing. Oh, goodness me. I think we got away with another one there. I think, do you know what? We are going to drop it to balanced because Mongolia look up for this game. And we are looking a bit tired, although looking at the condition of our players, it's a little bit higher than theirs. Maybe they're playing the same 11 that got the draw against Macau whilst we freshen things up. And we forced one home. Bit of a defensive error, I think. And Daniel Rasala, old chicken tikka himself, has pounced. And the centre half has prodded one home. Nathan and Inzo's ball in. It's bounced off the back of Jeffrey Belcher's head. I don't think he meant that one. He was looking in the wrong direction. But he's got an assist for it. And we're in the lead. So we're going to keep it at balance. That seems like that's helped us out a little bit. Nutsall has given the ball away. And they are marching through the centre of the pitch. Make a challenge, somebody. Make a challenge. Somebody close him. They've done it. And the Hamburglar gets the ball away. And we've gone over the top, as we love to do. And here he is. He's not a finisher, but this time the goalie gets a hand on it, but the JBs have combined it. Sloop John B to little Jeffrey Belcher, and that, well, that is what the Northern Mariana Island structure is all about. Laying on the shoulder of the last defender, putting someone up there who's a woeful finisher, but is pacey enough to get in behind them time after time. Ooh, and we are 2-0 in the lead. We're wearing the Tekapua t-shirt today. We're trying to summon up the spirit of the Great One. And so far, it's worked. But Dale Lone is in the team. And when Dale Lone is in the team, well, Bulgan Bayamend might just be able to pounce. This is a goal of classic Mariana making. He stands still, puts his foot on the ball, and Hobin Nutsall is already down on 2 knees before their striker pulls the trigger. And we've given them a route back into the game. But Dale's making up for it. Is he? A couple of minutes later, and Ninzo, again, this guy is an assist machine in central midfield, puts in a bit of a flat corner, and then 6'6", you know what he's built out of, in at the near post. One of our own players doing a dummy, and we're 3-1 into the lead. So we're going to say that was a job well done in private. We're going to tell the boys not to get complacent. How is the fitness? Who's struggling? Rasala? Well, he's playing his second game in 48 hours. He definitely is. The Hamburglar, well, it has done well to put one foot in front of the other with match sharpness of 47%. And Bogdan is starting to look tired now. I think we might make that change. And we're going to bring on Jen Agulto, who, again, is another pretty pacey option. Again, has some severe deficiencies in terms of their attributes. And what have we got going on here? Can Hobin do anything? Of course, Hobin cannot. I think he's dived around the ball and allowed that one to drift in. And we are up against it again, aren't we? How close did he get here? Not very. Ball was past him before he decided he was going to dive. We're going to have to shout, demand more at the boys here. We're going to keep it on balance, but I fear, well, we've experienced these kind of things against Mongolia before, haven't we? Can we get another goal? I feel like we're going to need one. Don't think 3's going to be enough, but when you've got Juanito Hook, whose face may have turned a slightly bluish hue, well, you've always got a chance, haven't you? Sure why Juanito's face has turned blue. Slightly cyborg in nature. Maybe that's why the header was so firmly planted past their keeper. Juanito's getting towards 20 international goals now. And I think he could be the first Northern Mariana player to win 100 caps. He's only 25, and I think he's hurtling his way towards 70 caps already. But I said I thought we might need an extra goal, and every time Mongolia come forward, they do look dangerous. The Hamburglar, well, he's looking tired and he's given the ball away. And they are looking threatening when they come forward. We get away with this without conceding a goal. We're going to make a little change. And the change we're going to make is this. We are going to take Perry Flores, who was a hero in that first game, bring him on for the Hamburglar, And then we are going to defend a little bit more narrowly against their 3. And we're also going to say to our 2 fullbacks, sit narrow against their 3 and try and help out in terms of numbers a little bit. And do you know what? We might even drop them down to a defensive mentality, which I realise is a little bit negative. Honestly, we could get 3 points here and get qualified before we even have to play Macau in the last game, then that is going to be a result. It means Nom and I can probably get home and not have to even be at the Macau game and start our escape plan from Mongolia early. That won't help if we concede another goal. I think we're going to give Hobin Nutsel some credit there. That was actually bordering on a decent save. And that was bordering on a terrible miss. And they are starting to come at us a little bit. So we're going to try and shut the game down. We're going to go wingers onto support. And we are also going to ask Jen Agulto to go out of position and play on the right wing. And we are going to try and bring on another midfielder. We're going to go Dakota Agulto is going to make a 5-man midfield. And we are going to try and see the game out a little bit. Why don't you go box to box for us? And why don't we play a little bit more cautiously? Well, let's see if we can just let a little bit of time elapse. Because things are starting to look a little bit fraught at the back there. I don't know how you're feeling, but I think that Mongolia are dominating these match stats. And we're pretty lucky to have put 4 goals past them. We've just given away a penalty, haven't we? Goodness. No. Kim Jin needlessly pushes their player over in the area. And our old friend Nutzel doesn't move for that. And maybe we're inviting a bit too much pressure onto ourselves. Maybe. And this is going to be a tense last 20 minutes. We've conceded injury time goals to Mongolia before that have broken hearts. I think now's the time to get our first little bit of time wasting going. 8 minutes left. We're not going to be ashamed to put the full time wasting on as well. In fact, we're going to do that now. We've made all 3 of our changes and it's highlight time and it's for them. Crossy fingers, people. Crossy fingers. Oh, well, okay. Shots like that we will take all day long. Let that be the highlight. Good. Didn't want a goal kick going to Dale Lone. Oh, no, they've got another. Is it going to be a counter? We've got 3 against their 1. Play it in. Here he is. It's a Agulto. Ah, Dakota Agulto. What a name. What a counter-attack. What a finish. And I think we needed that as well. Oh, what an afternoon of football. 5-3. Thank goodness we wore Nathan Tekapua's t-shirt that he lent us because it has summoned up all of the spirit of the Great One. And we have dispatched Mongolia 5-3. We've put 5 past them again, but this time we let 3 in at the other end. And one of them at least was certainly of our own making. But that makes the table look pretty good. We're 4 points clear of Macau and we've not even played them yet. And we are there. We're qualified for a 4th game of competitive football once more. Thank you for everybody that's been watching along with this series. If you thought that was a good performance and would like to give this video a thumbs up, well, we will not say no. We're going to see you very soon for that Macau game. And, well, we might be blooding a few more of the youngsters in that fixture. And before you go, if you'd like to check out the description down below, we'll put links to other creators that might just be creating some Football Manager videos that you might enjoy. We are going to see you next weekend where we're going to play Macau. And then we're going to have another shot at that 4th game in Island Dreams.